Hello and welcome to Geometry Honors Open House 2020. I am Dyana VanWyngaarde, your son or daughter's geometry teacher, and I'm so thankful that you are here today watching this video. I wish that we were in person meeting one another, but I know the most important thing is the communication, and we're all making the very best of this, and I thank you for that. I wanted to point out my email address. It is on the LT website, and I know I've emailed everyone through Infinite Campus, but just in case you type it out, it does have the double A there. The Dutch like to have their double vowels, so just please be careful, because if you leave an A out, I will not get it. Speaking of email, I'm usually really good about getting back to emails in 24 hours, but as I'm sure you can imagine, this school year, the volume of emails that are coming in is just a whole new ballgame. So I really appreciate your patience and grace, and I will still do my very best to get back to everybody in 24 hours or less, but just wanted you to be aware that it's taking me a little longer right now. I just want to talk a little bit about myself first. I went to Willowbrook High School in Villa Park before I went off to Elmhurst College, where I got my undergraduate degree. I majored in math, minored in Spanish, and got a concentration in secondary education. Right out of college, I taught at Elk Grove High School for 3 years before I found my home here at LT. I got my master's degree at Concordia University of Chicago in curriculum and instruction for ESL, and then I've taken a whole slew of continuing master's classes through Benedictine University as well. Outside of school, this is my world right here. My husband and I have been married for almost 10 years, and then my daughter Emma, she's 5, and my little guy Logan just turned 2 last month. And then that sweet pup right there, she is the newest addition to the family about 2 days ago. That is my Stella, which we're all very, very excited about. All right, quickly, a little bit about my teaching philosophy so you know where I'm coming from throughout the school year. First and foremost, social emotional learning has always, not just now with this virtual learning, but it has always been at the forefront of my mind. Learning is a very, very vulnerable process. It's hard, especially with math. People don't want to feel stupid. Nobody wants to feel like they are less than anyone else. And so they have to feel safe to make mistakes, and safe to ask questions. And so it's proven that students learn best when they feel valued, respected, seen, heard, and like they are allowed to make mistakes without feeling stupid, especially from myself. I can't imagine having a teacher who didn't make sure to make me feel valued and respected, but also from their peers. Especially being in a virtual environment, it is crucial that we all treat each other with respect, and so I do have zero tolerance for that. Self-advocacy is key to success. This has, again, also been something that I have always worked on with my students in any avenue of life. We have to speak up and ask for help when we need it. And so I think I'm going to have to ask you for help even more this year with that, because students, it's a little bit of a slower process to get to know me and to feel comfortable and safe in my classroom. And that's something that I've always, I pride myself on that. And so I'm going to need your help this year to please just encourage your students to reach out. I've already had students do one-on-one Zooms, and it's been awesome. And I feel like it's alleviating some of the stress and anxiety. But please don't hesitate to have your students reach out to me so that I can continue to support them in any way possible. Growth mindset, I think especially in math, for some reason, people like to think that their math abilities are like passed down to them from their parents. And I just want you to know that I truly believe that our learning is not fixed, and students' abilities are not fixed. It grows with time and practice and dedication, just like a sport, right? When you're not good at a skill, you practice it until you get good. So I truly and genuinely do believe that every one of your children can and will be successful in my class with the proper dedication and self-advocacy and all of that. We learn from failure. So please know that each of your students, they're going to stumble and fall and fail at something at some point in my class. And that is a part of learning. And I will stress that throughout the year, but it is important that you also please foster that conversation at home and help students to see when they stumble as a chance to learn and truly grow. Something else that is important is the fact that we're all in this together, and that we truly better ourselves when we help others. I like to tell the kids, you know, obviously I'm good at math, right? I went to school and I majored in math. I thought I was going to be an actuary, and then I realized how much I loved helping others, and so I switched to teaching. And so every year I'll have some students who are reluctant to help others in groups, or they roll their eyes when I ask them to explain. And I just want you guys to know that I truly and genuinely believe that it isn't until we have to explain something to someone else that we truly learn and store and master something. So it wasn't until I became a teacher and had to find a way to explain to someone 3 different ways who wasn't understanding until I really understood and learned all the math that I know. And so anytime we are in a class setting or a group setting and I ask students to help one another, I just really want them to know that they are helping themselves when they help others as well. All right, grading policies. So formative and summative assessments. This year, formative assessments are not allowed in the grade book. So think formative as for learning. It is 0% of the grade. It only is about the learning along the way. The reason why you might see points attached to things is because I might want students to see, oh, I got a 7 out of 10 on this. Oh, that would have been a 70%. But know that it is not impacting the overall calculation of the grade. So please do not get out like your calculator and try calculating where a student's grade is at based on that. The only thing that is going in the grade book for actual calculating of their grade is the summative assessments or the tests. They're at the end of the unit. Each test does have 1 retake allowed, but I would just encourage you to be careful with that, because to get caught in the retake cycle can be very overwhelming to students. There's, you know, I don't want to go into all the details. You can look at the syllabus, but there's a set of criteria to retake, and you have 2 weeks from the time it was in the grade book. And it's very hard to be juggling that all. And so if we're constantly studying for a retake and then not focusing on the current stuff, it can be a vicious cycle. So I would just encourage your students to make sure that they stay on top of their studies so that we don't end up in that cycle. The common or the infinite campus flags, M is missing, L is late, T is turned in, and E is exempt. None of those affect the grade whatsoever. They are just informational. This year, I need you guys checking Infinite Campus to see, oh yeah, they turned in all their assignments, but holy cow, a lot of them were late, or look at how many are missing. No, it's not hurting their grade, but I promise you it will affect their test score, right? Because if they're not doing the work, they're not going to perform well on a test. So I would just ask that you continue to check Infinite Campus and really help me stay on top of the students with that. Our course resources, everything, pretty much everything this year is Canvas. I hyperlink every quiz, every homework, every answer key, the Zoom links, everything is hyperlinked on Canvas. So, but most importantly is feedback. Anytime I collect and grade something, I will give the students feedback, both ink annotations on their PDFs as well as typed in things. So please encourage, before your students reach out to me and say, hey, Mrs. V, I don't understand, why did I get this wrong? To check Canvas first to see if there's feedback from me, because it does take a long time to do that, but I know it's important for student learning. Infinite Campus is pretty much just grades, really, and, well, the formative markings as well, but just make sure you're checking Infinite Campus along the way, too. This is just an example of a snapshot of what Canvas looks like. You can see all those blue and red are hyperlinked to the blank versions of things and answer keys where they're supposed to submit their work, etc. Homework is assigned every day, pretty much every day. It's only collected sometimes. I have 130 students, and as much as I wish I could collect homework every day and grade it to give all the feedback possible, is just not possible. So just be aware of that. The most important thing is I expect students every night to go and check that answer key and have a colored pen out and a highlighter and circle the ones they got wrong. I'm not saying they have to redo them right there and fix it, but at least write the correct answer or make a note on why it's wrong, because the best way to study for a test is the night before the test. You get out all your work and you go through all your homework assignments and you find all those red pen markings or highlighter markings and you go, okay, this is self-prescribed to me. This is what I struggle with. This is what I need to review. And it can be very empowering in the studying process, okay? M's for formatives are just to communicate with you. You don't have to make them up necessarily unless it's a test. You probably want to do that because tests turn into zeros after a couple weeks. But if it's just a formative thing, there's nothing to really worry about making up. Summatives, we kind of already talked about this. I'm going to proctor them during the synchronous Zoom sessions, and everything else is really kind of in the syllabus there. But most importantly, no work, no credit. They have to turn in their work, and I need them to communicate with me if they need a retake. All right, required materials. I'm almost out of time for my video here, so I'm going to skip on to how can we work together to help your student. Please, please, please help me this year to create a positive attitude and motivation for learning. It is so hard. I cannot imagine being a teenager these days trying to do high school virtually. And so I'm doing everything I can to keep motivating them, and I ask that you do everything you can to keep a positive attitude at home. Please create a Canvas account as a parent so that you can log in and see if your student is falling behind. I'm doing the best I can, but it's so hard to stay on top of everybody, all 130 students, and all my emails and rewriting all the curriculum to make it virtual. So I just would really appreciate any and all help you can give on that. I thank you all so much, and I hope that you will continue to reach out if there's anything I can do to help your student have a successful year. Thank you.